big question. How do you stay consistent with your exercise program? How do you keep doing it on a regular basis so it becomes a habit? This is a question a lot of people ask, and in the next few minutes, I'm going to give you 5 things that I think are really going to help you dial this in so that you're going to be consistent with your exercise program and make it a habit. Because I tell you what, long-term weight management is not going to really happen unless you get into a consistent, moderate to vigorous exercise routine every week. And I'm going to go through and talk about these 5 things. But the first thing I want to mention is if you ignore your fork and don't really dial that in also and have like a restriction on how much you're taking in, you really can get caught up in this thing where you think you're exercising so you can eat a lot more. You really can't. 500 calories is not much. If you burn that much in a day, or even 750, it's not even, it's less than a meal. So you can't really pile on and have 4 pieces of pizza instead of 2. So we're not going to talk about diet in this case, but trust me, that's about 80% of weight management. But as far as exercise goes, if that's part of your weight management program, let's talk about that. Number 1, I think one of the ways I've been able to stay on track and be consistent, that's all I can do is share from what I know. At RxHealthyHabits, I try to maintain a really consistent exercise program. I've been doing that for the last 3 years. And that's despite working a very difficult schedule in the pharmacy as a pharmacist and also doing content creation. So let me talk about number 1, what I found that really helps me is you got to keep your eye on the prize. In other words, why am I doing this? Anytime you're going to have trouble going out to exercise, the biggest thing that's got to come in your head is, why am I doing this? Okay? And why am I doing it? I do it because I am amazed at how much better I feel when I do exercise, how much better I sleep, how much more stamina I have. I don't get tired in the afternoon like I used to. There's all these things that I keep my eye on, the vision, I guess, of what exercise does for me, always in front of me. And I think you got to begin with the end in mind. You got to have that prize in front of you. Number 2, what I do to stay consistent, and I hope this helps you, is I really think you got to find something you really enjoy doing. I love biking. I've learned to love swimming. Didn't do it for a long time. Finally got into it. I love hiking. I love lifting. Not, crazy, but I like doing at least toning. And then I like going for a walk with my dog. So I try to find things that I like doing that are also a diversity of things, because you get caught up in just swimming, just lifting, just riding. You really need to think about mixing it up a little bit, but find things you like doing. That's number 2. Number 3, this is vital. You really want to get consistent with your exercise program. You really need to say to yourself, I need to carve out 1 golden hour a day. Now, I don't want to throw numbers out at you, but I believe 1 hour is pretty much what you're going to need if you're going to get moderate to vigorous and get a significant calorie burn. I mean, you could do it walking, but in an hour, but you're probably only going to get about 300 calories or a little less. And it's not just about calories; it's also about cardiovascular. It's about getting your heart rate up and really working your heart and lungs. So I'm going to say, based on what I've looked at in my life, I carve out an hour and I schedule it. It's very important that you schedule that as part of your day. You got 8 hours sleep, 8 hours work, got those other 8 hours. During those 8 hours, you really need to carve out that hour and make it work. So here's another thing. I've done other videos on this. Very important. It's really going to help you be consistent with your exercise program if you look at your weekly stats and you're measuring your exercise. Today, for instance, I'm not going to be able to work out for the next 2 days, so I went for a 50-mile bike ride. And in a couple hours, I'm going to go in the pool and do a mile in the pool, which is about 1,700 meters. Why? Because I'm not going to be able to work out for a couple of days. So I got to carve out an extra hour today. Now, people say that's an awful lot of time. Well, it really isn't when you think about all the other things you do. So carving out that golden hour means that the number 1 thing that you need to think about in your life is, if your health goes, a lot of other things go too. So it's so important. Number 5, and this is the last thing I'm going to leave you with, then we're going to land this plane. You really need to start looking for the results, but also noticing the results of when you exercise consistently versus when you don't. And that should be simple to do, but I got to tell you, you need to be always vigilant and say, man, look at this. I mean, I feel so much better and I'm able to do this. I think about some of the things I could do now I couldn't do before in my 40s. But also I look at the rewards, and you got to celebrate those. You got to celebrate the rewards and be thankful, and also be mindful of the fact that you wouldn't have these if it wasn't for you being consistent with your exercise program. And I know you can do it. I know that once you get it, it's going to become such a habit that you won't even think about it, and that every day you'll be looking forward to it. So I hope that helps, and definitely find out more about all the different things on RX Healthy Habits. We have a lot of videos on swimming, biking, exercise. We have things on some recipes. We have a lot of things on RX Healthy Habits that's really going to help you dial and being consistent with exercise and so much more. But RxHealthyHabits.com, check it out and get on our email list. It's fantastic. So get out there and get after it, and just stay consistent, because it'll change your life.